Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be continuing in the Prepared Citizen kind of mini series I'm putting out. This part is the Prepared Citizen water, probably playlist. So far we've done the Prepared Citizen water security for the individual. Today we're going to be covering for the group, and then later on we'll probably put out something like for the neighborhood, something like that. So when we talk about the group, this is up for you guys to kind of decide how many people is a group. For me, that 6 to 12 is kind of pushing it. This can definitely do it. If you're trying to do it in an expedient manner, then you're going to need to supplement some stuff. But you can definitely take care of your water needs with this for a group of 12. It's not a big deal. We can do it. So with the individual kit that we've already done a video on, if I'm carrying this or if someone's carrying this, I'm probably not going to carry the individual kit. I will carry my decon kit and usually the Grail. So the Grail GeoPress, I think, is the bigger one. The Ultra Press, I think, is the 16 ounce. The GeoPress, I think, is 24. Generally, if I know someone's going to have this in the crew, decon kit, Grail. And then I'll have some kind of a, like an MSR Dromedary Bag, like a 6 liter or a 4 liter DromLite that I can just scoop water. And if I needed to, I can push it through the Grail, take care, refill my the bladders that I have on me. But let's get into this crew kit. I'm going to call it crew kit, group kit, crew kit, whatever you want. I'll call it the crew kit. I did just use this while we were kind of out in the woods doing some scouting for elk. So it's got some sand from a creek in there, and some stuff probably won't be as neat and tidy as it might normally be, but I got to go through it anyway, so I figured we'd do the video for it. But let's get into it. The kit, dromedary bags. We'll cut to one of them. So this is going to be that crew kit, expanded, blown up, whatever you want to call it. We kind of separated it into, I say we, it's me. I separated it into a couple of different categories. So we'll do, I don't know, we'll probably cut to it at the end of this, but we'll go over the collection. So MSR Drom Bag and MSR DromLite Bag. Talked about it in that individual kit, but chopped up brew bag with some shot cord on it. So you can secure it to Nalgene's or whatever you're doing to help kind of pre-filter some of that water. Over here is a little bit of admin working this way. This is going to be more of the gravity bag section here. Over here is going to be more your purification and chemical means. So I guess the Cana Decon cards could probably go with admin, but I use them mostly for chemical dosing. So in my mind, this works out. So let's get into it. At the heart of this is going to be the MSR Autoflow. I don't know if I prefer. I really like the Autoflow. I have the Platypus Gravity Works. It's a great system. Comes from your dirty bag, tubing goes down through your filter. You can put the carbon on there if you want. We'll touch on this in a second. And then it goes into its own clean bag. That's awesome. I really do like that feature. It just goes into a clean bag. This is your dirty bag, so you can scoop into this dirty bag. Scooping, tangent, but scooping isn't always as easy as everyone says. Like, oh, we'll just scoop water. Like, sometimes it actually is a little difficult to scoop. So jot that down, try it out, do it before you actually need it, I guess is my advice. So with the dirty bag, we will scoop up our water in this dirty bag. So once we get it, you do your little roll top, secure it. It's got a nice little buckle up here. Click, and now you can hang it from something. I'll splice in a photo here of me actually doing it, but it works pretty well. Bear in mind, though, that this is kind of a soft plasticky material. It's not quite like this Cordura over here, so it can puncture. So keep that in mind. But then we move to the main filter. So this guy here, I'm pretty sure is this is the Autoflow cartridge, the one that came with it. This is the one I use with it most often. I do carry a spare filter. This is also an Autoflow cartridge. It looks a little bit different. I don't know if one is a new model, one's an old model. I don't know how that works, but I do have a spare. This guy here is a Platypus. I don't know if MSR makes them, but you can kind of, sounds like a little maraca. This is a Platypus Gravity Works carbon element. So getting into filtration, purification, we'll do a whole video on that. But filtration is the act of physically removing particulates. So specifically looking at like debris and then your big stuff. I say big, but like protozoa, right? Giardia is a great example. These carbon filters, these little maracas, these help with heavy metals, toxins, and chemicals. So if you're doing, let's say, disaster relief somewhere and chemical plants are impacted by flooding, pretty nice to have this. It's rough to think about, but dead bodies in a water supply, right? I'm going to want to do some kind of a physical means to get that debris out, or those particulates out, rather. I'm going to want to do some kind of a chemical, and I'm also going to, chemical means as in like for inactivating the viruses. And then I'm going to do some kind of a charcoal means as well. So hit it with filtration, purification, and then something for heavy metals and toxins and chemicals. Depending on what scenario you're in, what scenario I'm in, I have the options to do all of them. It's nice having them in the bag. Don't always have to use them. If it's just in a creek, most of the time, we'll probably just use this guy. Maybe I'll throw in some chemical means like the H2Go or an Aqua tab for good measure. But most of the time, you know, you're out hiking, elk hunting, whatever you're doing, most of the time a filter is going to be just fine. This guy, up in Idaho, a lot of dredging happened for mining. So heavy metals and toxins are a consideration, especially in certain areas that are still really affected by, I think lead is the biggest one. So I may, and this is how I would do it, flow goes down. So the water coming through here has now been filtered. So no protozoa, giardia, anything like that's coming through. Then it would come through this guy. And then if I'm in an area that I'm worried about the heavy metals or whatever, runs through your filter, runs through your carbon element, and now you're good to go. So that's kind of why I have these different means. So filter, replacement filter. This guy here, we showed it on the last video. This is a backflush syringe. So once you're done using it, you would make sure you just stab it in there. Cana came out with their own. It's pretty nice. It's a slip tip, just like I've been using for years that I just, am at work. But has a nice little decal, tells you all the information about it. You just squeeze, you're now backflushed. So if you carry gravity bags, especially somewhere where it gets cold, like up in Idaho, you're going to want to definitely make sure as little water gets stuck in here, because if the temps dip down, it's going to freeze. Here I have the tubing. So this dirty one connects to the dirty bag, connects to that, and then we kind of showed you with your clean tubing here. Showed you in the last one, but this is one of those adapters, thread adapters that you can screw on to Nalgene's, or in this case, dromedary bags. Let's do this and then we'll bounce back to this stuff here. So coming over, I keep another Cana decon kit just as a backup. In my individual kit, I usually won't keep the cards, but I do in this one keep the full set of the Cana cards. So no matter what I am doing, what volume of water I'm trying to treat, I know I will be able to have my references here. Let's see here. So this is the Cana Personal Water Purification Tablet Kit. So these are just a bunch of Aqua tabs with a little card in there that tells you how much to dose. I carry this. I don't really use it that often, but it weighs nothing, and I can always chuck it to somebody. If you're doing a whole water boss plan, I don't really do that. I'm just kind of the water guy. I get stuck with it, but I can just throw this to a guy. It's got a little decon card in there, and it's got a bunch of Aqua tabs. Honestly, this is something I would like hand off to. You meet up with another set of your boys or whatever, and they're just kind of fiddle farting around with their water or whatever. I'd just be like, here you go, fill your Nalgene's, pre-filter, do all that stuff. Here you go, have fun. This is the 397, is it 397? Yeah, 397 milligram Aqua tabs. These are for use with bigger quantities of water. You can use a bunch of those Aqua tabs to equal this. I think those are 81 milligrams. I think they're getting like real close to like aspirin dosing. So I always get it kind of mixed up. But yeah, a couple of those will equal one of these big tabs. But when you start using scepter cans, these are real nice because you can just throw one in there, and I think you add 2? 1. Let's see if I can figure this out on the fly. Okay, so give you kind of a real world. So I'm trying to figure out for a 20-liter jerry can. I know that I need a big tablet. Yep, okay, 397. So for clear moving water, use 1 big tablet and 3 small tablets. They're 49 milligrams, small tablets of the Aqua tabs. Cool, right? That's not giving all the cards away. I hope Zach's not mad at me for that, but it's kind of a cool, like, hey, let's figure this out right now. And just like that, I'm able to figure out how many Aqua tabs I need for a 20-liter scepter can, right? It's pretty freaking cool. So we have these, and let's see. Oh, dog's coming over. Hey, buddy, lay down. Lay down. Good dog. Lay all the way. Good boy. All right. So this guy here is the H2Go. After you get like a basic filter, whether it's MSR, Platypus, Sawyer, Katadyn, whatever, I really, really think I should get this. The reason I say that is like Aqua tabs are great and they're super easy, but they run out. This guy is powered, first of all, by the sun. It's got a solar panel on there. It takes forever to charge. So battery bank is faster, but this guy uses salt. So you add your salt, you make a brine. I think I still have brine in here, actually. I do. So you add your brine, you now have salt water, add it in here, and then you're gonna set, and we'll do like a whole individual video on this guy, but you'll set 1, 2, 5, 10, or 20 liters. Press a button, and then through electrolysis, you basically are getting bleach, for lack of a better term. You're basically getting bleach, but in the correct dose. So it's a super handy tool. As long as you have salt, like table salt, you're set. Like I think a few years ago, I was trying to get into like salting meats or whatever. And I went to Winco, I think, and I got salt for like 35 cents a pound. I think I got like 100 pounds. It was dirt cheap. So table salt is the only thing you need. Table salt in the sun. And then you can mix it up. And now you got bleach. So even if, even if say you don't have something like this, you've pre-filtered the water, there's no large particulates in it, this will inactivate protozoa. And we'll touch on all of this in a different video, but this will do everything for you. There's a little bit of a bleach taste with it, so that's why I have those Mio Energy, squirt in the water, make it taste less terrible. But with this, you can clean a ton of water for a large group of people. This is one of the things I donated to that church in East Tennessee, doing relief efforts with Hurricane Helene out there last year. I gave this to them. That whole church now has a way to clean water for their entire congregation. All right, yes, it's going to need to charge and so on and so forth. It does have a lifespan on it. I don't know what it is. It's really long. But this is an incredibly powerful tool. So before you go out and buy that 17th AR or some other dumb shit, really look into the water stuff and this guy. This is a little bit more expensive than some of these things. It's like, I want to say it was like 150 bucks, but I just bought side plates for like $800. So there's no, like, if you're out buying expensive stuff, you could definitely buy something like this. Yes, I understand budget is a relative term. So bear that in mind. If it's something you got to save up for, H2Go, I really think is one of those things. Zach was kind enough to send me some stuff out. This, I'm so bad. I forget the name of it, but it's like the Caddy, H2Go Caddy. It's actually really cool because I know some guys will run their water kit in like a fanny pack, but it's got tethers. So you can tether it all to this little caddy and then stick it in. It's got Velcro on the back. And then you would just stick this in a fanny pack or whatever. And then your brine solution and your H2Go is locked in there. So pretty cool. In the H2Go, and I did use this, which is kind of why it's a little bit dirty over here. In the H2Go, and I think this is, I brought 2 H2Gos to Tennessee. I think this is my personal one that I kept. This H2Go card is kind of what I was like, oh crap, I dosed the water. I don't know how long they have to let it sit for. This is the OG card that I bought. So in there, charging cord, extra salt. I just keep extra salt in a baggie. There is some salt, little chambers, I guess, in there. But then you got some other adapters to charge it. A manual, yada, yada, yada. Let's see. Yeah, the safety indicator strips. So this is another cool thing that goes with that H2Go. You can you can test your dose of that brine solution. I think it's a brine solution. Included with the water treatment. No, you test your chlorine with it. I have used these like twice, to be honest. I just kind of go for it. But if I'm not sure that my dose is spot on, you can definitely use your test strips. I have used them before and I was like, oh, hey, they work. Off the top of my head, at 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night, I don't recall if you do the brine solution or the actual bleach that comes out of that. So apologies. But pretty cool. Gloves. I keep some gloves with me because if you are making bleach, like I don't want to get that on my hands, I don't want to get it on my clothes. So this is the crew kit. With this, I can treat quite a bit of water for a relatively large group of dudes. If time is of the essence, then you're going to want to get something like multiple of these bags, multiple of these Autoflow or Platypus systems, just because it goes by so much faster. But it's got a pretty good flow rate. I'd have to reference I made a chart about all the different flow rates and different products. But It's got a pretty good flow rate. I think I filled up this 10 liter, I don't know, it was within like 5 to 10 minutes, something like that. It wasn't long. And then we had 10 liters of fresh drinking water from the creek. So I think we'll cut to this, go over some collection, and then wrap this video up. All right, for collection, you've got a couple of options. You do have the 20 liter septic cans. You've got, generic water bottles, whatever you want, Nalgene's. The thread adapter that I've got in that crew kit, as well as my individual kit, it does fit that Nalgene thread pitch. MSR was smart enough to have their dromedary bags have the same thread pitch. So you could just take it, run it from the bag through your filter, screw it on here. That's what I usually do, and it works amazingly. In that last video about the individual kit, I had talked about trying to get the guys to standardize some kind of way that everybody carries to at least collect dirty water. Ideally, I like those 6 liter MSR Dromedary bags. I personally am not a super big fan of using these guys for collection, but I will use these guys for storing clean water after I've treated it in some kind of a static area, or throwing it in your pack, something like that. These are the DromLite bags. So granted, this is a 10 liter, this is a 4 liter, but the size comparison is enormous. This is definitely heavier. This is definitely lighter. This is way more durable material with that Cordura. This is kind of like a Camelback. So this guy is pretty big. But again, this is 10 liters of water. This guy is a 4 liter, but it collapses much smaller. I would not feel super confident, at least up here in these woods, carrying these externally on my pack. There's too many things that would snag it. They would just shred it. So if you have a way to carry it internally, like as a bladder, something like that, and collect dirty water in this, for example, shove it in your pack, and it's safe inside of the pack, is probably fine. This guy, I just string this to the back of a pack, and you got to kind of finagle it and make sure that it works, or you're going to be having this thing slapping you in the back of the legs, which I didn't secure it, and it was just slapping me in the back of the legs. But if you're going to externally lash this, I would say this guy. I really do like these MSR Drom bags. The DromLites, I think, are nice. They're very compact. But if you're doing anything, rough with it, I don't think that the size is worth the trade-off for durability, in my opinion. But, you guys do what you want. This is just one guy's opinion on the internet. So, DromLite bags, Drom bags, you can use them any way you would like to use them. Storing water in a fixed position, run it from that Autoflow bag, that MSR Autoflow bag, into here, 4 liters, boom, you're done. I have them marked up with tape that I'm not trying to show the internet how I mark my chemis, but I do keep a couple of chemis in the crew kit. I'll keep green for good water, blue for bad water. So you kind of mark it in the dark as a way to help. In that admin, I'll kind of throw in a picture here as well. In the admin pouch I've gotten there are also the Cana stickers for clean and dirty water. They are different. One is a triangle, one is a circle. So even in the dark, you just kind of run your fingers over it if you're using like the scepter cans. I've got like 12 scepter cans over there, that's why I keep pointing. But you just kind of run your finger over it if you're in the dark, and it's like, okay, circle, triangle. All right, I know what we're doing. We're good. I also like affixing a chemi. So just something I've kind of picked up, but water carriage, this is what I'll usually do. When it's not full, it isn't like carrying a scepter can. So those things are just a pain in the ass to carry around. These guys, when empty, are fine. And that wraps up water security for the crew. for that prepared citizen. This is just how I do it. These are some of the things I've used and had good success with. If you guys have experience with this kind of stuff, by all means, drop it in the comments. Shoot me DMs on Instagram. I learn a ton from you guys, honestly. I truly appreciate you guys. Most of you guys, some of y'all are fucking wild, but let me know your experiences. Whether it doesn't have to be mill experiences. You know, if you're in the backcountry a lot, whether you're hiking, camping, hunting, fishing, guiding, whatever. I learn a lot from those guys. If you've done it operationally, deployments, workups, schools, stuff like that. Darcy is, you know, like at that pointy edge for water. Let me know your experiences. You know, I may have a bunch of stuff and you're like, hey dude, I did the exact same thing you did and it did not work for these reasons. And I'm like, oh shit, I hadn't even thought of that. So I truly appreciate you guys. Learn a lot from you. And as always, I hope you got something out of it. We'll catch you next time.